Hi everyone, Alex Tardy here with Weather Echo. A November to remember. Yeah, I know, it's just a saying. Very wet conditions have occurred across central Southern California. We've got a weather insight for you. Let's take a look. On the left-hand side, I've got the percent of average for November. Huge numbers, 600, 700% of average. That means 6 to 7 times compared to normal. On the right-hand side is the raw numbers, if you like that. My house had 3.5 inches so far. Greater amounts around Santa Barbara and the LA Basin for the month of November. And some of this has been snow with the most recent 2 storms. These are big numbers for November. If we look at it on a map, spatially, we can see the deep purple on the left-hand side is the past 30 days. Really wet conditions. On the right-hand side, that is just the month of November alone. Very similar signature. But notice the areas that suffer. So with all that wet comes dry areas and very dry northern Great Basin and the Rockies as shown here, including parts of Oregon and New Mexico. Very wet southwest Arizona, Southern California. If you look on a map that's green and brown, a little easier on the eyes maybe, the past 2 weeks is on the left-hand side. You can see it shrink the area of dark green on the right-hand side because that's the water year all the way back to October 1st. So that includes a longer period, and October did have precipitation, but not nearly as wet. Off to a very good start. How good? Well, if you look at the ranking on the right-hand side, we do see some ones in the San Joaquin Valley, Santa Barbara area, Southern Nevada. In the LA Basin, San Diego, we see some 3s and 4s. So that means it's not the wettest 2-week period in any November ever, but it is up there being top 5. Why? Well, of course, it's the weather pattern, right? If we could predict this weather pattern, we'd be in good business. This is an anomaly compared to normal, so departure from average. Huge upper ridge or warm dome blocking over the Great Basin. That is the result of that deep, unusual trough in the North Pacific. So yes, the ridge responds to the deep trough. And then we see another one upstream in the Central Pacific. And so this allows the space for these storms to go up and over and down along the California coast. Now, they haven't just been doing this in November. We've been talking about this and tracking this for a while. All the way back to May, you can still see pretty good evidence, considering this includes all the summer and the fall, of unusual upper trough or the same pattern, okay, with a ridge in the Pacific, one in the northern Great Basin, or in this case, Canada, and that dip in the jet stream across California. The difference now is we have more instability because of the colder air. We have access to that tropical moisture or the atmospheric rivers, which we don't have during the warm season. But during the warm season, we did have tropical moisture, and we also had the monsoon moisture. So we've been seeing this pattern precipitation since late May. What's changing? Or we're going to see more of the same. Well, on the left-hand side, the outlook for December is calling for areas that have actually been really dry that I just showed to be wetter than normal. And not dry for California, but slightly below average for December. Now, on the right-hand side, this is produced every day now. It shows things drying out across the Pacific Northwest and Northern California in week 2, so late November, early December, and that continuing into the first part of December. However, we have seen some computer models showing another storm system for California for very late November and early December. So even though we see the signal of drying out, that may be temporary. Now, with the very warm conditions expected during Thanksgiving week, dry, warm conditions, with all this rain, precipitation, we're going to see a significant green up here in Southern California in the lower elevations. So that is great news for fire weather conditions, unlike what we saw last year in 2024. Really the complete opposite. So the fire weather danger has greatly, dramatically decreased across central Southern California due to this significant November precipitation. All right, more insights are available at our blog. We have notes there. We also post in real time on X, and you can find some other short clips on TikTok and also on our YouTube Shorts. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.